Are you ready for Labor's new tax hikes? Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's look at this article and see if you're at all surprised about, some leaks for the next budget. I'm sure Labor will be all touchy-feely and nice and friendly to everyone. They won't at all tax us more, will they? Nah, not at all, not at all. As I've said before, every generation needs to learn. So, the federal budget set to scrap tax cuts, costing the average Australian $600. So there you go. Essentially, another tax hike. Removing a cut is a hike. $600 more, thank you very much. More than 10 million Australians will be left feeling the pinch of a looming decision to scrap tax cuts, with many expected to lose up to $600 in refunds. And that's money that you don't get to spend, but the government knows how to spend your own money better than you do. This is what happens, guys. More than 10 million middle-income Australians will cop one of the largest tax increases in Australian history after the May federal budget. The record-breaking tax hike comes as households are grappling with high interest rates and skyrocketing costs of living. Treasurer Jim Chalmers is planning to scrap the low and middle income tax offset that was introduced in the 2018-2019 financial year, according to the Sydney Morning Herald. Independent economist Chris Richardson told NCA Newswire that Middle Australia will be feeling the pinch at tax time from the middle of next year. Why do you think so many Australians use housing and negative gearing to mitigate their taxes? It feels like it's all by design, isn't it? In July, August and September, when most people get their tax refunds, this year's tax refund will be about $600 less per taxpayer than last year, Mr. Richardson said. We're talking some pretty big dollars. That means a person earning $50,000 a year will be subject to a 3.4% or $29 a week cut in their after-tax income, when the offset ends in the next financial year, while someone earning an average of $90,000 will face up to a 2.7% cut. A person on $100,000 will be $1,200 worth off at the end of the offset. There you go. Well, it's Labor, guys. They know how to spend your money better than you. We're all just stupid plebs, who want to vote no to changing the Constitution. Oh, boy. The tax offset plan was part of the Turnbull government's original three-stage overhaul of the personal income tax system. Mr. Richardson said those earning a middle income wage would be hit most when the tax offset ends, but he noted that taxpayers had also recently received a financial boost during the pandemic. They give with one hand and they take with the other. They cripple your legs and then give you a crutch, and you have to be thankful for it. This group got a tax cut earlier than most others. Then during the COVID, the tax cut got held up, and then this round of cuts, he said. They've had more in Australia than anyone else. We're still getting the tax cuts in 3 rounds, stage 1, 2, and now stage 3. It's the doubling up of money that's disappearing. While the May 9th budget will scrap the tax offset, it's understood the government's plans to provide cost of living relief in some form. The bulk of the work on the federal budget is understood to have been completed, with any revisions or final touches expected to be added before next month. It comes as Australia's inflation rate hit 6.8% in the 12 months leading up to February. The figure declined from its high in December, but the Reserve Bank forecasts inflation won't return to its target 2 to 3% range until 2025. The RBA put a pause on the most aggressive tightening of monetary policy since the 80s last week to give the central bank's board more time to assess the effects of its 10 successive rate rises. Mr. Richardson said those facing unemployment will be hit hardest in the next financial year. The RBA and the Treasury forecast an extra 150,000 people will become unemployed as financial pressure mounts. While Mr. Richardson forecast those numbers to be slightly lower, he said the tax cuts will still be a shock for many. The RBA is trying to slow the Australian economy, so it slows inflation, he said. The groups we should feel sorriest for will be the unemployed. So far, unemployment is at a 50-year low, but this slowdown will add an extra 150,000 to the ranks of the unemployed. People are starting to dip into their savings. You'll see more of that as the economy slows further. Mr. Richardson said, the news that the tax refunds will be smaller shouldn't come as a surprise, but it will be a concern after the supersized cuts of recent years. In terms of cash flow, refunds were massive last July and August in 22. They'll now be on average next financial year, he said. So there we go. Well, let's have a bit of a talk about this. I would argue from an ideological perspective, the goal is less government, less taxation, less burden, reducing the size of government and, well, allowing the individual citizen the right to spend the money that they earn and as they wish. But I think I'm in the minority in Australia, honestly. I think the majority of Australia is pushing for more government, it seems, and that seems to be the path that we're heading down towards. What do you think, everyone? As always, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on that one. Check out HeiseBim and Heise Does for other videos of topics I discuss. And if you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.